and people too. And then have the commitment through principled life and good characteristics, good behavior. So you can be able to take people to where God wants you to take them.
Beautiful.
Yes.
That's very beautiful. We appreciate.
Thank you.
And the way you have added that you can lead the people where God wants you to, that's very beautiful way of adding. I want to thank you, our viewer. Thank you for being together with us. And thank you for following us. And I know this show has impacted you. And now you realize there's potential of leadership in you. Exercise it, release it, do what you're supposed to do. And leadership is not a title. Leadership is a responsibility. Deliver your responsibility. May God bless you. This is Bishop Dr. Ken, the host of your show, Shepherd Voice. I want to register my vote of thanks to you for being together with us. May God bless you. And as we wind up, remember there on the scroll, there is a way to reach us. You can contact us, reach us and tell us how this show is impacting your life. May God bless you. May God keep you well from the floor of the studio. We pray may God bless you and keep you well till our next broadcast. Thank you. God bless you. Bye for now. Shalom.
Hii ndio hustle yangu. Hii ndio nausanga socks. Naendanga natoanga pale Kigomba na kuja kuuzauza. Time zenye sina madaro hizo nakuja hapo kwa njia.
Unaongea na nani leo bana?
Unaongea na Joseph Tingisha. 500,000.
Mr. Joseph.
Yeah.
Mmeshaishika pesa kama hizo?
Hapo hiyo sijawahi shika.
Hizi 500,000 tutafanyia nini?
Niko na deni ya shule, fees, arrears. Na hizo angusha kidogo tu. Ningependa tu kuwahimiza na kuambia loto ni kitu ya ukweli kabisa. Mimi nimeamini ni kitu ya ukweli kabisa na yani mtu jaribu bahati yako.
Changamka, cheza loto.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Looking for an institution to further your studies and wholesome growth in serene environment? Kenya Methodist University is your best choice. Join us for diploma, degree, master's and PhD programs in business and economics, education and social sciences, science and technology, medicine and health science. TVET courses are also available. KEMU is a university of many firsts. The first Kenyan private university to graduate medical doctors, the first Kenyan university to offer online and distance learning mode of study, and now online or blended learning. The first Kenyan university to offer accelerated trimester system of learning, and the first private university to offer TVET courses. Enroll now for January 2023 and May 2023 intakes. Kenya Methodist University. The future is here.
A very good evening. Much thanks for joining us here on the program. It is exactly 8:59 p.m. East African time. This is LOOKUP News coming to you from our Lookuptv studios. And we have a loaded bulletin for you tonight, all the way from some very sad stories to some sporting action. All that happening in just a few minutes. But before we get into all that business, here are our top stories. Tonight on LOOKUP News.
Kuna wengine wawili wamekufa wakiwa hospitali, kwa hivyo idadi ya waliokufa imefika 7.
7 die in a grisly road accident at Kikopey along Nakuru-Nairobi highway.
We are very definite that once the state responds without any evidence, that the judge will agree with us that there is no basis at all for one Sergeant Rashid to take plea.
Dreaded Pangani crime buster Rashid Ahmed ordered to surrender.
Sikia mtu yeyote unaona kuna depression, ongea na huyo mwingine ili tuweze kuwasaidia tusiwe na janga kama hili. Sasa mtoto ameenda, mama ameenda, lakini kama tungepata nafasi tuongee na wao pengine haingefika hapa imefika.
A mother allegedly poisons her child before taking her own life in Kiambu County.
Mnajua tulipata nchi ambaye mambo yake ilikuwa imeharibika. Tumeuda kidogo, mambo imeanza kufufuka na hivi karibuni mtaanza kuona matunda.
And Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua meets governors promising timely disbursement of counties' funds. Once more, welcome to the broadcast. The hashtag is LOOKUP News. I am Nancy Nelima, and our sign language interpreter for tonight is Josephine Oko. Do stay with us and let us know where you're watching us from at Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, or Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. And to begin on a rather sad note, the death toll from a road crash along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway on Thursday morning has risen to 7. The fatalities include 2 miners who perished in the crash near Kikopey. 4 of the victims, among them the matatu driver, died on the spot during the fatal accident reported at 5 a.m., while the other 3 succumbed while being rushed for treatment in various hospitals. Nakuru County Police Commander Peter Mwanza said more than 10 other people who survived were admitted to different hospitals in Gilgil area in critical condition.
For the second time in a span of a few days after a PSV vehicle collided with a stalled trailer by the roadside, 7 people have lost their lives in a similar incident along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway.
Bahati mbaya kuna watu 4 walikufa hapo na wengine majeruhi wakapelekwa kwa hospitali ambazo ziko hapo karibu. Kuna hospitali ya St. Joseph na nyingine ya St. Mary's. Baadaye kidogo kuna wengine wawili wamekufa wakiwa hospitali, kwa hivyo idadi ya waliokufa imefika 7.
According to eyewitnesses, the 2 PSVs were headed to Nairobi from Nakuru when they hit the stationary trailer, which has been stalled for 3 days. Confirming the incident, Nakuru Police Commander Peter Mwanza insisted that overspeeding was the main cause of the accident, urging drivers to be more cautious on the roads.
Kilichosababisha hii ajali ya aina hii na impact ya aina hii ni ule mwendo wa mbio. The speed at which these vehicles were moving was a 3-lane speed. Because eneo hilo ni eneo liko wazi na ni eneo ambalo lina climbing lane, kumaanisha gari lilikuwa linapanda mlima, na kupata accident ya impact ya aina hii kwa climbing lane mahali palipo wazi, hiyo ni jambo la kushangaza sana.
The 16 who were injured were taken to St. Mary's Hospital for medication, while the bodies of those who succumbed transferred to the morgue.
16 ni majeruhi mabaya zaidi. Kuna wengine 3 pia ambao pia hawajajulikana kabisa vizuri, lakini pia polisi wanajaribu kuwatambua.
As Kenyans continue to lose their lives to road carnages, the question remains, what will the Ministry of Transport do to curb such cases? Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
To the corridors of justice, the High Court has ordered Pangani-based police officer Rashid Ahmed, who is accused of killing 2 teenagers, to surrender to the police. Justice Kanyi Kimondo issued the order after Rashid failed to appear in court physically and joined the court using a virtual platform. Asked by the judge why he had not turned up in court to answer the charges, Rashid said that he had traveled to his rural area in Garissa County to attend to a family issue.
Troubles for the embattled Police Sergeant Rashid Ahmed, based at Eastleigh Police Post, continue to deepen after the Milimani High Court Judge Kanyi Kimondo directed that the accused police sergeant undergo mental health examination at the Mathari Hospital before taking plea.
The court deferred plea taking from today to the 9th of February 2023.
Sergeant Rashid Ahmed, lawyers led by Dansan Omari, maintain he is innocent of all the accusations leveled against him and have poked holes into the evidence presented by the human rights groups and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
We raised very fundamental issues within that petition. One, the author of that video. 2, the video itself. 3, the camera that took that video. 4th, the ballistic report of the bullets that and the gun that was used to kill the 2 boys. 5th, the identification parade that was done to bring into a conclusion that these boys were actually shot by one Sergeant Rashid. 5th, we raised the question of us being given the evidence through that petition. The state has never complied.
As a society, we are still behind our officer, Ahmed Rashid. He has done nothing. He's not a criminal, and he should not be hunted like an elephant in the bush.
Already, Ahmed's legal team has filed an urgent application before Justice Kanyi, seeking to stop plea taking on grounds that the prosecutor has failed to provide satisfactory prosecutorial evidence to proceed with the case. That application will be heard on February 8th, a day before plea taking.
We are very definite that once the state responds without any evidence, that the judge will agree with us that there is no basis at all for one Sergeant Rashid to take plea.
Sergeant Rashid Ahmed found himself on the wrong side of the law after a section of civil society groups and the Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecutions opened a case proceeding against him, accusing him of gross violation of human rights. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Tende, for that story. Now, in other sad news, Kabete area in Kiamba County has witnessed 4 suicide cases within the span of 24 hours. The 4 include 2 men and a lady who allegedly poisoned her child before killing herself. Stakeholders and residents in the area have called upon groups dealing with poor mental health cases to come in handy for the young people in the region. Cecilia Lubanga now reports.
A somber mood marooned Kiambu vicinity as residents were walking through yet another incident of a suicide case. This time round, it was a mother and her child. According to the area police commander, Joseph Muriuki is treating the possibility at the preliminary stage that the mother might have poisoned her child first before consuming the same poison. The 2 men had killed themselves a few kilometers within the same area.
And she was out of reach, so we decided to come look for her in person. And when we got here, we had to try and peep through the door because it couldn't open, it couldn't budge. And that's when we saw her body lying on the ground, and then we broke the door.
mtu yeyote unaona akona depression, ongea na huyo mwingine na huyo mwingine ili tuweze kuwasaidia tusiwe na janga kama hili. Sasa mtoto ameenda, mama ameenda, lakini kama tungepata nafasi tuongee na wao, pengine haingefika hapa imefika. Tuongeze kiwango ili tusaidie mpaka wale wanakuaga mashinani. Kuna wale wanatusaidiaga sana kwenda kuangalia mtu ni mkojo ako na shida hii, tuwe tukiwaandika vizuri, tukiwapea pia wao tuwaandike, tuwapee kitu kidogo na wao waendelee kufanya hiyo kazi mashinani, kwa sababu wao ndio wanajuanga kuna watu wagonjwa pahali, kuna watu wako na depression. Tukisaidiana na wao na department ya health, ninajua mambo hii itapungua kidogo.
The 3 incidences have raised concerns amongst the residents of who now worry about the state of mental health in the area.
Katia hata hii mambo ya ugonjwa wa fikra, kwa sababu inaonekana sasa hii ni dalili ambayo iko na wengi. Hii ni tu ni ishara ya baadhi yetu, na pia serikali vile tuweza punguza hii mzigo. Pengine mtu anaangalia vile maisha imekuwa ghali, sasa naona jambo mzuri ni kujitoa uhai. Kwa hiyo ni jambo mzuri pale kila mtu pale nafasi yako, serikalini, mkubwa kwa wadogo, tuone vile tuweza kuwa tunazingatia ile maisha, tuweza ileta chini ili watu wetu waache kuwa na fikra mingi za kimaisha.
The bodies of the 4 have since been moved to Anginge Hospital mortuary as investigations commence. Cecilia Lubanga, Lookup TV.
Thank you, Lubanga, for that coverage. Indeed, very worrying numbers right there in Kiambu County, and we do hope that people can get to talk about issues. Moving on, different leaders have continued to visit the departed home of the former immediate education CS to condole with the family. Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli is among the leaders who joined the family members and eulogized the late as an astute leader who transformed the education sector. Shadrach Kareria now reports.
For the second day, politicians and leaders from different organizations visited the home of the former Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha in Nairobi. While giving their final tribute to the fallen CAs, the leaders termed Magoha as a leader who set the standards high in the education sector.
All the time, particularly whenever we would have cases of medical malpractice, Prof. Magoha would say it doesn't matter who is involved, justice must be followed.
While eulogizing Magoha, Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli, who was in attendance, termed Magoha as a leader who hated and isolated himself from corruption.
One of the things that we as workers will remember him for is that he was not corrupt. He was a serious man, and indeed very serious, because he called me one day and he told me, I don't want your son in my university. There are very few people who can do that. I used all my influence, I know, and the tactics I was taught on negotiations. But he said, no, Francis. I've said no, and my no is no. Take your son in another university you can. And that was it. Bearing in mind, at home, we are so close, and also we have been close friends for a long time. And I respect him for that. Here is going down to the grave without somebody's even 1 shilling. I know. Nobody will come here and say, I bribed him, I gave him money to do for me this and that. This is an upright person.
The current University of Nairobi Vice Chancellor Stephen Kiama, who was in company of other retired Vice Chancellor of the same university, eulogized Magoha as a leader who spearheaded education reforms at UON.
We take it as a university community that the institution is a baton we pass from one to the other. And we learn from the one who left before, and they take the institution to the next level. And we have continued with that culture. And Professor Magoha also contributed to the same culture. And that's why University of Nairobi it is the way it is now.
And you can see why this man, Professor Magoha, was a brother to me. We will miss him, but God decided this was his time. We support the family, we'll be with them, and all we can is really that University of Nairobi has lost one of its lights, there's no doubt. But we hope the current people will continue to look for also good people to ensure that light continues.
The family and friends of Professor George Magoha are currently making preparation for the burial of his brother, which is expected to take place at Yala in Siaya County on Saturday, before they can announce the funeral of Professor Magoha. Shedra Kareria, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Kareria, for that report. Indeed, a man was remembered for many things: his contribution to the education sector, as well as his no-nonsense approach when it came to work. How is it that you remember the immediate former Cabinet Secretary for Education, George Magoha? Do let us know, and let's continue engaging on our social media platforms, where we are at Lookuptv. And we do have to take a very short break. We'll be back on the other side with a lot more in store.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Usienda nayo huko ndani, unaacha hapo kwa luggage ndio uingie.
Ni wacho kwa luggage namna gani nataka kutumia huko ndani? Nimekuja na hii gani ndio inatumika? Hii paketi ama hii kuchota? Kwani serious hii? Bwana wacheni mchezo bwana. Nini nyinyi?
Karibu customer. Hizi bidhaa unaziacha pale kwenye luggage ndipo sasa ufanye shopping kwa supermarket yetu. Kuchota ni kufanya shopping pekee.
Ni kufanya shopping.
Raundi hii chota mapema na Hetia Supermarket ndio best. Kwa mara nyingine tena, Hetia Supermarket inakuletea chota na Hetia Supermarket. Ushiriki shindano la chota ni rahisi. Ingia tu Hetia Supermarket iliyo karibu nawe: Kitale, Bungoma, Eldoret, Kakamega, Kisumu, Busia, Naivasha, Limuru, Nairobi, Thika, Nyeri, Meru, Chuka na Maua. Nunua bidhaa ya shilingi 600 na zaidi na utapewa raffle ticket. Jaza vizuri na utumbukize kwa sanduku iliyo mlangoni. Utakuwa umeingia kwa draw ya kujishindia zawadi kama gari 7 aina Daihatsu Mira, pikipiki 21 aina ya TVS, 1130 school fees, TVS, microwaves, shopping vouchers na vingine vingi.
Bas, ni huku. Saidia bibi.
Chota imethaminiwa na Uwe Bacon, Savannah Juice Fruit Vial, My Choice Hand Wash, Zesta Choco Primo, Ketepa, Blue Band, Aramco, Oven Fresh Bread, Nivea, Silent Night Mattresses, Coca-Cola pamoja na Hisense. Shindano hili limeidhinishwa na BCLB permit number 002816. Sheria na masharti kutumika.
Chota na Hetia Supermarket, na hii motokaa gari smart kabisa inaweza kuwa yako. Unangoja nini? Ingia, fanya shopping yako Hetia Supermarket, kuchote na hii kari, hii motokaa inaweza kuwa yako. Mtu anaweza pesa kwa buti.
Hetia Supermarket, a world of choice.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Lookuptv. The hashtag is Lookup News. Nancy Nelima here and Josephine Ouko on the sign language interpretation. Let's continue. A section of Kenya Kwanza members of parliament have laughed off plans by Azimio leader Raila Odinga to oppose the new IEBC reforms, claiming it is an attempt by President William Ruto to constitute an electoral commission that will favor his re-election bid in 2027. Ian Kitani files the following report.
Kenya Kwanza MPs have taken a swipe at former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and Azimio allied MPs for voicing their frustrations on the reconstitution of the new IEBC commissioners after the bill was assented by President William Ruto.
Hii maneno ya IEBC
ilipita process zote. Kuna kuanga kwamba lazima kukuwe na stage. Kuna stage moja ambayo inaitwa public participation, ambapo unaalika wananchi, maoni ya wananchi na mtu yeyote ambaye ana maoni tofauti.
Process of recruiting new IBC commissioners does not take place in the streets. And you know, picketing or demonstration is their constitutional right.
Ilikuwa published, ilikuwa na public participation, ilikuja bungeni, ilipita first reading, ikaenda second reading, ikaingia committee stage, na ikaenda third reading, na ikapigwa sahihi. Sasa unapinga sehemu gani haswa? Unapinga kupigwa sahihi, unapinga first reading, second reading ama committee stage, ama unapinga kwamba haikuwekwa publication? So wakati tunahadaa wananchi ya kwamba tuende kwa street, ile stage ya public participation, hebu tuone memoranda yako ilikuja bungeni.
The legislators denied claims by the Azimio la Umoja leader that the constitutional was unlawful and therefore they will not be recognized. The MPs insisted that the bill has already been assented into law by the president and therefore the claims were useless. Roraka MP Tom Kajwang has insisted that the ODM party will oppose the reconstitution of the new IEBC commission.
Now, an electoral process which is controlled by the government or the political party in power alone as against everybody else is in itself divisive. It is a question which I am sure the audience or my viewers will understand even before I make a lot of speeches about.
The retirement of IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati with some of the commissioners left a void with the reconstitution process kick-started by the assentment of the bill.
Moving on, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has directed the provincial administration offices to crack down on illicit liquor, saying alcoholism and drug abuse has become a menace, particularly in the Mount Kenya region. The DP also called on the county governments to regulate issuance of licenses for bars and pubs, saying abuse of especially illicit liquor has reached worrying levels with the youth.
The Deputy President speaking in Murang'a on Thursday at the launch of the county's bursary program, Gachagua urged provincial administration officers not to participate in politics and instead heighten efforts to contain the situation on consumption of illegal alcohol and substance abuse.
Kazi tunataka nyinyi machief mtusaidie ni hii mambo ya pombe ambayo inaharibu hii watoto wetu. Na mimi nataka niseme nikiwa hapa Murang'a, we shall not accept a situation where our children are being killed by illicit brew when they are chiefs, assistant chiefs, county commissioners and the police. Nyinyi mlikuwa mmetoka kazi yenu ndio kumeharibika. Mlikuwa mmewacha kazi mumeenda kwa siasa. Sasa murudi kazi ya kupambana na pombe na bangi katika hapa Murang'a.
He added that plans to streamline and reform tea, coffee and dairy farming sectors are on the high gear.
Mambo ya fertilizer ya majani chai mulipata. Tunapanga mambo ya fertilizer ya kahawa na mimea zingine na mtakuja kupata. Na hapo mnajua rais amenipatia kazi ya kung'ang'ana na maneno ya kahawa na majani chai na maziwa mpaka mkulima aweke pesa kwa mfuko.
In addition, the DP said the stalled development projects will resume as soon as the government is mobilizing funds.
Mambo ndio tunapanga, mambo ya maji, mambo ya barabara. Mnajua tulipata nchi ambaye mambo yake ilikuwa imeharibika. Tumeudauda kidogo, mambo imeanza kufufuka na hivi karibuni mtaanza kuona matunda.
In a separate forum here in Nairobi, while meeting governors and other leaders, the abrasive Deputy President established a committee to guide on the amount of revenue to be allocated to counties that for a very long time now has been a standoff between the counties' CEOs and the national government.
We've been able to unlock several things. One, on mining, we have agreed that the resources that are entitled to the counties will be released forthwith, so that the counties can be in a position to utilize those funds for the benefit of the people.
Gachagua noted that the team will give a comprehensive report to the council for a decision in a week's time.
We have not been able to reach a decision, but I want to confirm that all the participants are alive to the current economic situation in the country.
The Council of Governors requested for 425 billion shillings, while the Commission on Revenue Allocation recommended 407 billion shillings. On the other hand, the National Treasury proposed to raise the allocation from 370 billion shillings in 2021 to 380 billion shillings in the 2023-2024 budget. Gachagua also said President William Ruto will meet the governors early next month to thrash out pending issues in a bid to enhance the relations between the two levels of government. Cecilia Lubanga, Lookuptv.
And beyond our borders, President William Ruto held that the government is engaging other African governments to nurture mutually beneficial relations. Speaking during the official opening of the Kenya Embassy in Dakar, Senegal, the president assured investors that the government would support them to access investment opportunities across the continent. The Kenyan Chancery in Senegal is the first in Francophone Africa and will serve the region. The president announced that Kenya will open an embassy in Rabat, Morocco later in the year.
This first step to open this embassy in Senegal is just but one step in the many that we will to make sure that we cover this region, we cover our continent, and to ensure that we present the best opportunity for Kenyans and Africans to work together, to do business together, to trade, to invest, and to grow our continent together. Any investment, any business, any trade that doesn't have Africa in the equation is trade that is short-sighted, because a quarter of the world population will be living here by 2050. This is where you have the youngest population in the whole world. This continent needs to be connected, and I'm very happy that you're making suggestions on how we can connect our continent better. We can connect Kenyans wherever they are in this continent better. You have my assurance that the government of Kenya is going to do everything within our power to ensure that Kenyans living in this continent, Kenyans doing business, working, trading, investing in any part of our continent have the requisite support from the government of Kenya. It is the reason why, for the first time, I created a whole state department with a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because diaspora is the future. We have the best human resource anywhere in the world.
Time now to get sporty. Kenya National Sevens rugby player William Ambaka has announced his retirement from international rugby sevens after this weekend in the Sydney Sevens Series in Australia. Ambaka has played 284 matches and scored 135 tries, and has today announced on his social media account. Ambaka thanked everyone who has supported him during his 13 incredible playing moments. Ambaka has collected one main cap and a total point of 675.